Hey,
Hello and good evening, everyone, and welcome to The
the truth
Truth Behind
behind
the
the truth.
Truth.
Wow.
Another exciting day here in LA, in New York, in Atlanta, in Texas, in Kansas City,
Just
and
all over the
all over the
globe.
globe. Yes,
Yeah.
indeed. Well, welcome to our wonderful evening Tuesday night. Being with you tonight on this moving forward days of our lives, as we always do.
Yes,
Days of our
yes,
lives.
yes.
That used to be
Yeah, soap
soap
opera.
opera.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Days
Days
of
of
Our
Our
Lives and
Lives.
When the World
Oh my
Turns.
gosh!
General Hospital is about the only thing that has survived of all of the
Of all of those, yeah,
of his peers at that time.
Young and the Restless. The Young and Restless
Oh,
been
Young
around.
and the
They've
Restless.
been
Yeah,
around for
they
a long
still
time too,
they
as
still.
well. But this wasn't our conversation tonight. But Beyond the Gate, if y'all ain't watching it, something wrong with y'all.
Yeah. I enjoy it. I think it's great
It
television for what it is.
is a
It's
good
different. You
show.
seen that show, Charles? How you doing, Charles?
I was going,
I'm good. I need to watch it. My boy's on there. Daryl
yes, indeed.
Handy.
Yes, indeed. Daryl is on there. Daryl's doing a good job too. I mean, awesome. He looks like, and his character looks like he's been made for TV. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's really. I know he's been fighting a very long time to get that type of gig, and I'm so happy for him.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, I can't wait till we get all back on set on Risky Southern Law.
That'll work. I'm with that one.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is definitely for sure. I do have a clip of that. I didn't upload it today. If I have a chance during the show, I'll upload. I was kind of holding on to it because I know he told me he'd come on the show and talk one of these days soon. So I was trying to hold on
Okay.
to it. I found a clip, of him on the show, so we can share it that way. But I'm looking forward to having him on there, though. Yeah, definitely for sure.
But
But
you know what? To be honest with you, did y'all see the Emmy nominations? Did you see anything about that? The Emmys, because they just
yeah, it just came out
did the
today.
roll call for nominations and everything else. So
Well, here's the thing. I know we consistently go through this scenario. Is the African American, or just say people of color in general, have been recognized well enough by the award system. I know you're not a super big fan of the award system.
I
You know,
don't care for it because
yeah.
it really doesn't mean a hill of beans.
Well, yeah,
I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think the audience really partake in the voting, situation not situation, but you know what I'm trying to get at. I don't think they give the actual core audience or the viewing audience, any type of leeway to vote for their shows. They have
no.
they have already a group of people or their peers that vote. So shows that you could care less to watch. I don't watch television like I used to. I don't have time. Who has time these days?
Well, I watch. But I have my particular shows now. Like a lot of the shows that get nominated and things like that are not typically on my my top. Yeah, my radar. And some of them like, oh, is that out there? Like the one that's been winning like every year. I'm sure Charles, you probably know that because we both sharing in the industry. The one, The Bear. I had no idea what The Bear was about. And then I started looking into
Very
it.
good.
Huh? What
he said it's really good. He said it's really good.
Yeah, so I'm gonna start looking at that when FX is The Bear. It's
Really
about a kitchen, a crew in a restaurant,
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm gonna start watching that one because that's been actually been very good out there. My number one favorite. Now he doesn't particularly care for cop shows, but I love cop shows. Okay,
I don't like cop shows.
I love cop shows, but my favorite number one is Will Trent, y'all. I'm telling you, I'm not endorsing it, but I'm not endorsing it.
I just like Abbott Elementary. I stick to my Abbott Elementary.
That's good.
It's a family-oriented show, and I think to be honest, it is very family-oriented. And I like that the children are
involved in it.
Are the core of the show itself. So I like that Quinta Brunson had found a way.
Phenomenal job.
Yeah, she has did a phenomenal job, and and she has really did wonders with that show. So I
I agree. I love that. By Abbott Elementary. I think I watched the one with the Zuba duo on Netflix. It was okay, It's just kind of hard to find the ones that are like really gripping to you. But like I said, I love Will Trent. Now, one that I didn't like, that I thought it was, I don't take care of her as an actor. High Anxiety. Did you see that one, Charles? Caitlin Olsen.
I watched a couple episodes of it.
Yeah, it's a little bit gripping. I was surprised. I mean, I don't particularly care because I think she's very uppity as an actor, but the show itself, I think it's actually pretty good. They may hang around for a little while, and it's not your typical cop drama. It's more of a, fact finding situation. I love shows like that. But all the rest of them, I mean, I'm not a CSI. I've never been a CSI, EI, BI, GI, and all the ones that keep going on, from there. But anyway, so let's get the particulars out of the way. We're gonna dig in tonight. All right. So keep us in mind. Share, like. Tell your friends, your coworkers, your loved ones, your dogs, your cats, people you don't like, people you do like. Tell them to tune into the each and every week at this time until we go to another time. But anyway, each and every time this week at 6:30 p.m. On the West Coast, 8:30 on the Central Time, and 9:30. Yeah, 9:30 on the on the East Coast. All right, supporting us. We do have the numbers up there for you to support us. Cash App, you can follow the description on Cash App. Venmo's there as well. And if you care to and like to, please send us an email, ttbttshow@gmail. All right. If you do like to try to correspond with us during this show, it is easy for me for us to look at the text message that you're sending to the show. Now, we are trying to work it that we can give you the opportunity to call in on the number that's on the screen. However, it is easy to respond to you, bring your question up, whatever, as a text message, or put it in the comments. All right. Number one, put it in the comments so you can actually show it if it's reputable on the show as well. All right. Charles, how are you, my brother? No, we got into a discussion. How are you tonight?
I'm hanging in the midst of a big move, so my brain, I just found out no more than an hour ago, so I'm in the midst of my thoughts is all over the place.
I understand that.
All right. Well, we know we're sending great energy to you for that success. And you know what I've been telling you. You know what I text you. We're going to take up on that. Take up on it. You never know.
Let me ask y'all a question. Have y'all seen that new, I think we saw a few, but have you seen the Madea final with the Marriage Destination movie?
I haven't seen it. I heard about it.
What's your thoughts? I know, but that's.
I mean, everybody's giving it somewhat like it's on TikTok very with wonky reviews. I mean, it was funny for how far I looked into it, but it's just typical Tyler Perry. Typical Tyler Perry. Well, either way, it's typical Tyler Perry. But I mean, it's not getting the greatest reviews.
Go ahead, yeah, but finish your point. What do you think? Okay. I mean, it was okay. I mean, I honestly was expecting a little bit more than what came from it, at the end of the day, because, it's like the trailers are at a point to get you really sucked in and thinking that something's going to be really great, from the trailers. And that's what their purpose is, to get you to watch it. I think the opening scenes were hilarious, with the grocery shop and then and the gas station. That was good. You're right. I think if Tyler passes by and sees this show, I honestly think the next Madea film, I'd like to see more Madea. You know what I'm saying? More Madea interaction, more of the Madea character, more of the Madea sarcasms, and things like that. Because I think that part of it is kind of fading away. For me, because I'm used to that. You're used to those quick responses from from Madea and all those things, and how the character would just respond to things. And that's what was really, really funny to me. Now, don't get me wrong. I think David Mann is a really good actor. I think he's a really good comedic actor. I mean, he does bring a light to that. Tamala's okay. I mean, in and of itself. Who else does he normally have as a regular? What's his name? I like her, but I'm tired of what she carries her character. What's the name of the older lady? The heavyset old lady. What's her name? I don't know. I'm tired of her. I'm just tired of what she's doing. Give her some more. Give her some better lines. Do something in it. But again, not to get into all that. It was okay. I think a lot of it was forced. It was just kind of forced to me. At the end of the day, and it's like maybe this one was just like I needed to put a Madea movie out and then let it come out. And that's just me.
Well, that's all of his projects. But let's keep it moving. That's all his projects. But let's keep it moving.
But Tyler, thank you for my little part. Thank you for my little part you gave me a long time ago. But
we're not knocking the hustle. But I mean, at the end of the day, that's typical Tyler, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Typical Tyler.
But next time I want to see more Madea. I'll just put that leave it that way. At the end of the day,
I want to see more of Family That Prays. That I will give him that credit. No, it was not that funny, but I like that it seemed like he really took his time with that movie, Family That Prays. I like that a little bit because it seemed like he really went in and did what he tried to do it, and especially Homegirl with the Emmy nomination. What's her? Kathy
Bates. Yes.
Kathy Bates has now become the oldest actress to have gotten nominated for Best Actress. For an Emmy, not for an Oscar, but for an Emmy. But when she did that movie, he really gave some great directions to her and Alfred Woodard, Alfred Woodard, and Sanaa Lathan, and oh my goodness, and his homegirl. What's her name? Taraji. Oh, Taraji. Yeah. So it was really. I like that movie. That was a really good movie. It really played.
What did you say, Charles?
Talking about Straw?
No, a Family That Prays. Family That Prays. That was really good.
Straw was good.
Yeah, Straw was pretty good.
Yeah, I liked, but I didn't really sit down and really watch Straw, but Family really set itself up very well.
I think it was actually really, really good. Now, since we are discussing movies, I know this is it came out in 2020, but I just went back and watched Lovecraft Country. Oh my God! If you're not talking about something that is very current in terms of I won't say cinema because it's not on the big screen, but on the small screen, HBO's Lovecraft Country. Okay, the acting is phenomenal. All right, what's his name? Jonathan
Majors.
Jonathan Majors and Journey Smollett and what's her name? She didn't come into later on, but then late Michael Williams was in there, and
I just don't know her name, but isn't she in Sinners?
No, yes, she is. Yeah, but the other girl, she's in Sinners as well.
The young man that played the young Mike, that played Majors, the young Majors. I know his mom. She was assistant director on a couple of projects I've done.
Oh wow! Okay.
Me and her partnered up. I taught acting at her studio for a while.
Okay.
Yeah,
who directed that show?
I'm not sure. It was an HBO director, but it was one of the ones that between that and what's the other one that we liked? That was on 2020. The Mask. God, what is it?
I know you're talking.
Watchmen. Watchmen. Yeah, the other one. Really, but this wasn't part of our conversation tonight, but it's just kind of in a new movie sequence. But if you guys have not seen Lovecraft, it is heavy. It is very heavy. It's grotesque. Yeah, it has, very strong bloody moments and whatever the case may be, but it is so well acted. And I didn't realize even watching it in 2020, what a phenomenal job. And that Journey and Jonathan Majors did. I mean, it really, it goes even beyond the status of what you call the acting arena. You know what I mean? At the expectations and things like that, they were honestly phenomenal. No? So I would encourage you. It is Lovecraft Country on HBO. If you have HBO Max, you can go back and watch it. Came out in 2020, but it is a really, really, really good watch. A limited series. It was supposed to carry on, but they decided not to do it the same way they did with Watchmen. They decided not to carry it on in that. But anyway, Charles, you got one you want to review real quick? That's a formal one you get to share with the audience real fast. We're going to move on.
No, we can keep moving. My mind is distracted. I'm trying to stay in there, but keep it moving.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Let's go.
I got you. All right. So let's dog into Washington a little bit. You want to go to Washington first? Let's go to Washington first and see what the clowns are and what's going on in Clownville. So let's go to Dumb One, Charles. If you got it handy.
You could go to the Columbia District of Columbia.
The Columbia.
You got it. Man, I can get it for you. I got it right handy if you haven't gotten it yet. You got it?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
I know you guys. This is not your favorite. I know you guys. This is not your favorite person at all. But as Rick Wilson said yesterday, when you've lost.
Hold on. Let me get it for you. Don't worry about it.
18th is, excuse me, what's happening to the white people? They have a Black Miss America. They have a Black college. They have a Black month. What do we have? And now they have Juneteenth. Yes, I understand there was slavery, don't get me wrong. But there was also a Holocaust, and that was more recent than slavery. But you don't hear the Jews saying, gimme, 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 gimme. What's the point of Juneteenth? What is it? I don't know.
Okay. let's go. Then we'll go to Steve Bannon after that.
Well, at the end of the day, at
you go ahead
the end of the day, I feel like, you know what? If that's how she feels, that's how she feels.
Okay.
But I would make a stronger case against it. I mean, why do we have to learn about the Holocaust then, if that was the case, if that was not apparent on our shores?
Okay.
But I think it's very telling when somebody that ignorant will get up there and say some stuff like that. Now, my thing is this. History is history, wherever it stems from. If you don't learn it, you're deemed to repeating. Now we're repeating what brought on the Holocaust.
Mm-hmm.
So my thing is this: at the end of the day, yes, it's important to know what Juneteenth is. It's just as well as it's important to know what the Holocaust is.
Mm-hmm.
But don't sit up here and say, well, you know, at the end of the day, why should we? Why not?
Mm-hmm.
Why not? There are some people right now. They are able to vote.
Mm-hmm.
They are free to do whatever. People would sit up here and tell you, well, I did not know this and I did not know that. We haven't. There are people who are in these United States are so behind on what is now guaranteed for us to have and what the freedoms that we have, that, you know, this is who we ended up with because of this type of scenario of life. So, you know, I'm just gonna leave it here. Yeah, she has a right to complain and say whatever the heck she wants to say, but hey, don't get in your feelings when people say, what's the point of us learning about the Holocaust?
Okay.
That's gonna leave it right there.
Okay.
Leave it alone.
Charles?
Woo, that's loaded. I really wanted to be sympathetic, but I can't, because we celebrate the 4th of July, and in the celebration of 4th of July, it says that we're only 3/5 of a human in the Constitution and so forth. It says that Native Americans don't even exist. They're not even human. So how do we get to take over all these holidays when we don't celebrate Christopher Columbus? We don't celebrate, we celebrate it, but there's nothing to celebrate. We celebrate, George Washington. We celebrate Lincoln. We celebrate all these holidays. And he said, what colleges do we have? Every college out there is white. I mean, I'm trying to figure out how they, Harvard, Yale, Princeton, Boston College, you name it, all these are white. So we get a few colleges. Now we got all these colleges. We've taken over, so to speak. I don't get that. But hey, like I said, we got to miss Black America. One out of what? Actually, last.
Oh my God, Miss Black America was when we were kids, Charles.
Yeah, and we just got a couple more. But dag, out of what, 60 years of it, we get 3 or 4, and now we taking over.
And only one black president out of a whole bunch of white ones. So
exactly. So
the fact that she said she was Jewish, right? She's Jewish. What she has to complain about?
I mean,
nothing.
You know,
what she has to complain about?
It just goes to show that ignorance is bliss. Okay,
it's always been bliss,
you know.
But the saddest thing about it is the nonsense. That's pure nonsense right there. But go ahead. I'm so sorry.
You know, and for her to make that kind of a statement out there, I mean, it really is. She's just not an educated woman at all on any levels.
I doubt it.
You know, however, you know, in today's life, in terms of where we are, there are just as many people that are just so ignorant about things that they just do not pay attention to. And you and I have this discussion all the time: is what in the hell are people doing? Why do you just wake up every day and put your head in your behind? I could say the other word, but you know what I'm saying? Every day. And we see it here. We talk about people that we work with and then all these type of things. And we go on these particular jobs. These people don't even know what's going on in their own country.
No, not at all.
They don't, and then she takes the time to answer to a journalist, about a question. And then she couldn't specifically answer the question because either her racial ambiguities were so important, that she felt like that the Jewish community was being sided, because of what was going on. I'm like, what? And as it states that the Jewish community owns generally a good portion of America in the first place, in terms of their profits and wealth, and especially the industry that we love so much. So I don't know where she get that stupidity from. But anyway, let's move on to Steve Bannon. And that's enough for her. All right.
That committee was totally rigged, and I didn't mind going to prison.
I brought a copy tonight. Here it is, the Constitution. Can I read a passage to you? Amendment 22, no person shall be elected to the office of the president more than twice. And yet you keep talking about Trump's third. Maybe you should have this.
I'll get you to sign it backstage and underline.
I
Look,
will.
President Trump didn't bring up running for a third term. Myself and others brought up running for a third term. President Trump is going to run for a third term, and President Trump is going to be elected again on the afternoon of January 20th of 2029. He's going to be president of the United States.
Okay, but the thing I just read in there, it seemed like there was no wriggle room there. It seemed like it was just, 8 or 10 words that said only 2 times.
We have a team of people that are working. A team.
How can a team do something about that? What? I don't care if the team is 12 trillion people. The words are still the words.
Bill, every day in federal courts, right now in federal courts, there's 120 lawsuits on what President Trump's doing for his Article 2 rights on the unified executive theory. But he's chief executive, he's commander in chief, and he's chief magistrate and chief law enforcement officer. There's 100, and they're running to court every day to sue President Trump, all because the interpretation of this. The interpretation of this is open for interpretation.
How should it be open? Could I have it back? How could it? I'm sorry to be. No person. You would agree he's a person. Okay, shall be elected. He was elected to the office. That's the office of the president more than twice. Twice is once and then another time. I don't see what the team is finding.
Okay,
I will disagree.
It doesn't matter to them because they have always rewritten the rule book when it boils down to what they believe is right for America. And I'm so tired of, and I hear what what he is saying, but you know what? How can you be that gullible to the fact that, yeah, there is a constitution, but do you know how many times that thing has been written and haven't been interpreted? I hate to say it though, but in this country, we are the experiment itself is so fragile. It is a very fragile experiment that we operate as government of a republic or democracy, if you would want to call it. But I hate to say this though, but we are in danger of that thing being rewritten.
Well, I mean, honestly, it is being rewritten right in front of our eyes.
Okay? And he just said it.
Right, yeah, it's being rewritten right in front of our eyes. And then the sad part about it is that we, a majority or a lot of Americans, they hold the book up. It's like they hold the Bible up, but that's a whole other conversation. I'm sorry, Charles, I had to go there. Oh my God. Charles had to fix his glasses on that one. But they're holding it up, okay, and declaring everything about that Constitution that they don't even know about. Okay, and it's kind of like simultaneously how the two working together right now, because a lot of y'all hold the Bible up, don't know nothing what it talks about. Okay, yet at the same time y'all hold up the Constitution, what it doesn't even know what that represents. Okay, but we want to defend things that we don't take the time to dissect and understand the clarities of what's going on in there. Because if you understand the Constitution, then basically you understand most of the Scripture, because the Constitution don't outweigh the Scripture, and the Scripture don't outweigh the Constitution. I said that, didn't I? They don't outweigh the other. But we've got a group of people out here, white wing Christian people, that want to say that the Constitution, and basically what they're trying to say, the Constitution is in the Bible. Okay, but again, I'm just saying, all right, for you to do the research and education, that's what they say, basically, because they want church and state to be lined up exactly in its format together. Okay, so to a certain group of people, like Steve Bannon thinks, and then he's white nationalist Christian that thinks that they can rewrite the Constitution, they back it up or try and rewrite Scripture.
They've been doing that for a long time.
Exactly.
So there is a slave Bible that has not been out there on the shelf, for years.
It's true.
But they have, and as a matter of fact, have rewritten certain portions of the Bible. Go ahead, Charles.
Yeah. No, I do. Well, you know how I feel about this.
Go ahead, give it to us, Charles.
I just don't get it. So everybody's so judgmental, and that's true. You have the right to be. But why are you always infringing on someone else's rights? They don't want Sharia law, which is what they practice over in Iran and a lot of Muslim countries. Uh-huh. But the crazy part about that is you're doing the same thing here now with Christian nationalism. I mean, I'm trying to figure out how you can condemn one person when you're doing the same thing. You're basically two sides of the same coin. That's all it is.
Right.
it's moving the goalpost. That's my thing. You're moving the goalpost to gain control of what you feel like you don't want other people to have. You want control. You want corruption control. You want things to be the way you think is best for everybody.
What I just do?
Yeah,
I'm not cutting you off.
moving the goalpost is what Steve Bannon is saying to Bill Maher. He's saying that at the end of the day, I don't care about that Constitution, and I definitely don't care about that book. Because when it was written, it was not written for you, Jewish man, and it wasn't written for you, African American man or African American woman of a totality. It was written for us white men, because we ran this. Right. So whatever you got going on and saying with that book ain't got nothing to do with what me and Trump got going on over here.
So what you're saying, what Pilgrims did in the purity of lifestyle was not written for everybody else. I'm being funny.
Basically, yes.
Yeah. You know I'm going with that.
Yes,
right?
I do understand, because at the end of the day, the goalpost will always be moved. You see that for folks to go and register to vote right now in certain places of these United States. They're trying to make it hard for people to do their civic duty, because they want total control. They want totalitarian
apartheid 2.0
system here, basically. Yes. And they're doing any means necessary, getting rid of the immigrants, whoever they might be, Hispanic or African or what, and then they're gonna go towards the Indians and Asians soon.
Right.
But the fact is, they want control. So Steve Bannon just said in this clip, I don't care about your Constitution, because he will win a third time. Through hell and high water, we don't give a damn. So let's go on to the next subject.
Attacking the Capitol, doing everything else.
Yeah, through hell and high water, we're going
to make sure that happens, which it probably won't. But, at the end of the day, we don't know. I mean, we don't know.
I'm not gullible to the fact that it could never happen here. We thought 9/11 couldn't have never happened. Right. But what makes you think?
Right.
Okay, then let's keep it moving.
Well, you know what? I deleted the clip, but see, but certain people just stand on the White House lawn praying that would happen, because we're not a civilized country. It requires a certain level of white prayer. But anyway, let's move on. We ain't gonna dig in that one, Charles. Let's go ahead and dive into. We're gonna move a little bit further, and so we're gonna go to one of these journalists that have been said so much, and really, I think that how can I say, the ball is turned in on her. Okay, and she's trying to explain her way out of it. Let's look at Don Lemon one, Charles, first, and then we'll go to the explanation that this woman got told and put in her place by the other woman. Okay.
All right. Don Lemon one. All right.
I know you guys, this is not your favorite person at all. But as Rick Wilson said yesterday, when you've lost Candace Owens, well,
I can't reconcile this Donald Trump with the Trump that we're seeing right now, the Trump that is gaslighting the public right now, the Trump that I voted for across multiple elections. The Epstein scandal is definitely terminal cancer to Trump's MAGA movement. There's no question about that. I actually said to my husband this week, and we were talking about it, that in order for Trump to get out of this is how bad it is, in order for him to actually make the MAGA base forget this, like potentially move on from Jeffrey Epstein, he would essentially have to come right out and repeal income tax in the United States. And then we would be extremely happy. Everyone would be very happy. And then we'd go, actually, thanks, Trump, but we still remember the Epstein scandal. That's how bad it is. There's just no making anybody forget about this Epstein scandal. I feel like Trump thinks his base is stupid, or, again, because I don't think he's pressing send on these messages, the people around him certainly think that Trump is stupid.
The people around him think that Trump is stupid. Okay, but Trump thinks his base is stupid. Candace, you just figuring that out? And you're just figuring out that Donald Trump is a liar? You're just figuring out that Donald Trump is involved with Epstein? Are you guys really? Come on.
Go ahead.
He is a businessman.
Let me just say this once about the hypocrisy.
Okay.
And about the not even the hypocrisy, it's the ignorance. I can't understand how people think now he's lying. He's been lying since he first started showing his face on TV. Since back in the 70s, he has been a liar his whole freaking life. Why are everybody so surprised now? And then you got all these, and excuse my language when I say this, these dumbasses who swear up and down, Trump's doing good for black people. Trump's doing this for. Trump is not doing nothing good for anybody but Trump. He don't even know what's going on up in the White House. He's got all these, I call them warriors running all these offices who have no idea how the things run. The government is not a business. I don't know why people keep saying that a business, would they need a businessman to run the country? The country is not a business. It never has been. It's the undertow of it is because it's all about the rich folks. But I just can understand how people fall for this shit. And just like this knuckleheaded response here. Show me proof that Trump's a liar. Everything he says has been disproved. Everything he's done has been disproved. So
Absolutely.
I'm still trying to figure out how people fall for this knuckleheadness, and then they go.
Well, he did say that there will be a ceasefire.
Stop.
So where's the
It's-
ceasefire? He
Even
said
Israel
that
said
once
it
he
ain't.
became president, all of this war between Gaza and Israel would be put to rest. All this situation with the Ukrainians and the Russians will be put to rest. There ain't no ceasefire, and Putin is always putting your man in his place. My thing is this, though, and I always keep saying this. We reward degenerate behavior in this country.
Oh God, yeah.
Whether it's black or if it's white, male or female, you see it with all of these people within our reality shows. You're seeing in our streamings. You're
It's
seeing
a rebellion.
white and the White House too. Trump is one of those degenerates that people they give credence to because he is doing their bidding. He is spreading an agenda that they love. They want women in their place. They want black folks want to be essential workers again. You got people who believe that a woman's right is to make sure that her husband is well fed and all that stuff. They go make a gay couple. We don't want that out there. We don't want trans people in the public. We don't want this. We don't want that. We want to make sure that we want to make sure that the exploitation of the American worker is thick and it's out there for monetary gains.
The Secretary of Labor said that the jobs are opening up. Why don't black people fill those jobs where the Hispanics left? But you don't see none of these ignorant black folks out here talking about that. They don't talk about that part. Just like this comment right here. This is another one of those dumb comments.
Say it again, repeat that.
You don't know Biden's been lying. This is the thing. You could ask a Trump supporter to prove to you, show you something Trump's done for black people or for the country.
Yeah, he's been lying forever. But what makes Trump?
Can't pull it.
Listen, a politician is a politician at the end of the day.
Sure
But at the end of the wait a minute, a politician and a businessman, who's telling the truth? I work on jobs where people don't always tell me the truth.
Sure
So what makes Biden and Trump different from each other? I'm still trying to figure out why are y'all gaslighting us? Why are you putting this man up on a pedestal where he cannot do no wrong? Because he is fulfilling an agenda. There is an agenda behind all of this.
And this is the geeked out part about it. I'm geeked out. I read 2025. I've read the new Mr. So-called Beautiful Bill. None of these ignorant people out here done any of that. All they do is go by what their boy said at the barbershop or what their cousin told them. They talked to the guy who mows grass down the street, said while he was drinking beer with them. They have no idea what the policies are. They have no idea how the economy moves. They go by what he says. And they don't realize that the things he says, you can prove they're not even true. All you got to do is go look into it. Trump said Trump said that, for a matter of fact, he told them that he's going to reduce taxes on tips. This is the clincher. You got to make 25 grand in order to start deducting tips. Who makes tips up to 25 grand? Them people are starving. They're not going to make that kind of money. And then the crazy part about it, if you look at the way the economy's moved, all the taxes we've been paying through Biden, like they say Biden did it. It's not. Trump signed those taxes into law, and he made sure that they sat through the Biden administration. So if you look in there, and all you got to do is go look at the government website. That's why Trump takes a lot of that stuff down. He don't want you to get the proof. And then people say, well, Trump did. Trump gave us a check. Trump didn't give you a check. Nancy Pelosi gave you a check. And she made sure, because Trump didn't want to give it to you. She got it for you. Then he put his name on it to make you think he said it.
That's his name. He had to
hate comes with a very expensive price tag. It does.
He unless he said put his name on that check, is the only reason why you got it, because he had to make it out of his bank account. We all know that. But both of you guys point, okay, and to our gentlemen, thank you for watching this tonight. And those that are, and thank you for your comments. Whether you agree, disagree, that's okay. That's what we're here for.
That's true. That's true. You can agree to disagree.
Don't love you any less. But hold on.
That's it.
But, yeah. But the thing about it is that, and I've been listening and looking and watching and all that. See, I really don't understand. I'm coming to the supporter at this particular point in time. It's like, how can you support somebody that strong arms everything into existence? Because that means that there's not an agreeable place. You're not looking at the deep side of on. Okay, he has been padded by a group of people that pushes an agenda. Okay, I'm gonna put it this way. Let's just put it on your own situation or your own individual life. Okay, in your own individual home. Whether you male, female, male, female, whatever the case may be in your house home, you cannot go in your house strong arm in your own house. Because there's a compromise and a negotiation that has to go on, and there are two parties that have to agree upon something. Or guess what? They ain't gonna be together. All right. So how do you feel it's okay for somebody to come and strong arm a whole a whole country and the saying that he's getting stuff done? You don't get stuff done like that. You don't do that. You don't do that. That is not even an American, a human perspective. So you're saying that him strong arming all of these things that he quote unquote said that he was going to do, pushing people out of the country, doing this, that he is getting stuff done. Man, y'all need to wake up.
That's like those farmers. The farmers are coming on TV talking about, I voted for Trump because he said he's gonna. Now they're losing their farms. All those people that, and you can love everything he says. You can love it all, but when it bites you in the butt, like Candace Owens finding out,
right?
All darkness comes to light. Just know
that.
That.
Absolutely. I mean, I totally agree.
Believe all you want to, but it'll change. You'll see.
Right. And that's Candace. We're gonna go into a little bit more. She got another wake up call this past week too, as well.
Multiple wake up calls. I mean,
this week because. I mean, and we said on this show, she is not the voice of the Black community. I'm gonna tell you.
Who made her the voice?
Well, she thinks she is.
We don't have go on, because I was gonna say something, but keep going.
She thinks she's the voice of the Black community.
Well, let me speak to that. When we're talking about government and media, these are two different things. So, under the denotative definition of a patriarchy, by the percentages that are occupied in the government, which is majority male, defines us as a patriarchy. Now, what it comes to for capitalism, for marketing purposes and control, for capital and revenue, that is a totally different conversation. But who's making the laws? I don't think that women are the ones voting to have their reproductive rights taken away, where you have rape, incest, and all of these things excluded to force women to be able to have. I don't think women in government would largely vote against their own interests because it's majority male, patriarchy.
Okay, I think love that point. Are women allowed to vote?
Oh, of course they are.
Who's voting that patriarchy, and then out of curiosity?
No, I totally agree. And you want to know why? Because there are so many women who think like you submit to the idea of men ruling everything. And your ideology is spread across a lot of women who also falsely believe to vote against their own interests just to complain about it in the end. Earlier you said that, women would be much more happier working at home, but don't you agree that it's human nature to want things that you don't have? Mm-hmm. So during the 1950s, which is something that you constantly bring up, it wasn't until 1994 that it was legally illegal to beat your wife. And so what we're dealing with is people wanting something, and then when they get it, they're not happy with it, and then they have to revoke that idea for something else. And so what you're saying is that women vote for these things because they have the same mentality as you.
Okay.
That's it.
I heard.
Take it.
Well, to be honest with you, it's true, but I would have wanted Candace to have finished her point. But but that whatever, I have to agree with what the lady has said. There are women who do vote, and they allow their husbands to, in certain places within the South, some women who do have the right to vote, they still allow their husbands to vote for them. Mm-hmm. So but hey, to each his own.
Just like there's black people who follow a lot of white folks who believe white people, Massa's gonna do good by us. Massa's gonna take care of us. And it's a lot of them black folks out there.
Still,
it's like Martin Luther King, who had a 34% approval rating back in the 60s while he's out there fighting civil rights. You think that we would be with him and follow him and supporting him, but nope. It's like that thing where they go back with Joe Biden. Joe Biden supported the crime bill. If you were in that time and you paid attention to politics, well, I'm pretty sure nobody did. The black preachers went to Joe Biden, actually went to Congress and the Senate and said, we need help. The cocaine and crack epidemic was kicking butt. We need some type of help. We need somebody to step in and put some law enforcement in. So they tried to get a face, and they knew the only face that would work was a white guy. So they went to Biden, and Biden, as always, thinks he's Superman. He's going to step in there and be that face. And then all it did was backfire on him because that crime bill, including the 3 strikes bill, even Bill Clinton says the 3 strikes bill was the wrong thing to do. But that's after the fact. You know, you do these things and then you blaming Biden for the crime bill when it's the black preachers in the black community who asked for it. They went there, they protested, they marched on that. Give us a crime bill. So now you mad at Biden because he did what the people asked.
You know, and it goes back to what we're talking about. You know, it's amazing, and I think now in this current life, I want to say for the past 12 years or so, that and I have to call myself guilty of this, is that I just really thought that people paid attention to stuff. I did, you know, and it was a part of my world, you know, because you all know me. I like to give the best credit to people from the beginning onset. You know, I try to find the best in people at all time, and that's either my curse or my gift, either one. You know, I don't consider anything a curse, but I didn't realize that how stupid people are.
Yeah.
And then social media has expanded the opportunity of stupidity to reign so great. It is. I mean, you know, and there are days on days that I get in battles on social media with stupid comments that people make. I didn't think that there were that many stupid people. Yes, I'm calling y'all stupid.
Trump says he loves an uneducated voter. Now, Trump says he loves an uneducated voter. He said it.
Well, yeah.
And he said before, when he was a Democrat,
college-educated people don't vote Republican. That's why Miss Vince McMahon is so really her, but it's a bunch of other people who are trying and have closed down the Department of Education for that simple fact. They don't want you to be educated. They don't want you to know too much because they want control. Right. But you know what's so funny? You know, at the end of the day, I say this. You know, yes, people on social media, the internet is full of degenerates.
Yeah,
it is.
A degenerate class is a very controlled class.
Yeah.
And you know what? It shows in our music. It shows in what we look at programming wise. It's just right now, degenerate behavior makes the most money, and it gets you notarized.
Well, yeah, that was a
but the fact is that you have people who, hey, they support this man because of the fact that he has given them a platform to say all types of outlandish things. You got the manospheres out there that support Trump's agenda.
Yeah.
You got certain evangelicals who want to control the narrative when it boils down to censorship. But then you know, they support that. And what can we as let's just say this, as people with some sense, what are we supposed to do about this?
Well, it seems like that everything is because it is now is an agenda based. People vote on the agenda. They don't vote what's on.
Since Reagan, this part, all this has been happening since Reagan.
Right, but it's an agenda based. Everything's an agenda.
All of this to happen.
Right, it's all an agenda. Whatever the agenda that I don't like for me, my house, and my community, then I got to find somebody that's going to support that basis in the legislative area. So therefore, I'll get behind them, regardless if they're a pedophile, regardless if they rip and tear apart women, regardless if they steal, regardless if they do all of the other things. Why they bankrupt? Why they got 34 convictions? Because it's an agenda base. You know, and you cannot run anyone's life based upon an agenda. You run, like I said earlier, you need to run your own household on an agenda. That's where your agenda counts. But your agenda does not count on the people in society, and that's where the number one problem is. And the American society has gone to an agenda-based voting, and then that agenda base has to be backed up by religious persuasion. You know, because it's an agenda base. People, unfortunately, I don't want to go to religious conversation tonight, but if necessary, we go to church, we assemble ourselves together on a weekly Sunday because of an agenda. Not the agenda of unconditional love that we should be spreading out to humanity. We have an agenda because we don't like certain people that are either in the church or certain people's behavior, certain people, what people do. So we find a pastor, we find a choir, we find an evangelist, we find all these things that support an agenda. So therefore, that's my church, that's my pastor, as long as he's promoting my agenda. You know, Scripture is not based on an agenda. If there's an agenda, it's based on the love of God and the love of God for humanity, and the humanity accepting the opportunity of having the embodiment of Christ. That's all the agenda needs to be. But if it goes beyond that and it goes beyond, it's off base completely. Go ahead.
Well, I just to expand on that, I wish the church would promote life insurance.
Whatever.
You know, I wish instead of promoting
Black business,
promoting black businesses, and instead of promoting the sin, why don't you promote what will help people survive in a world where they cannot survive? Affordability. You know, one thing I work. And I work and I go to these stores and I hear people complain about this and then. And this past week, I was talking to one of my receivers. We were auditing a pallet or two, and he was saying, you know, I go to Europe. I've been to Europe. They have this, they have that. They got universal health care, and this is a white man out there in Simi Valley. That's Trump territory. They got this, they got that. Why can't we? And I'm looking at him, I'm hearing this. I said, you know who you sound like? You sound like a socialist. Mm-hmm. Number one, we could have those things. We could have those things here, but you know what keeps us from having those things? He said, Trump. No, it's not Trump.
No,
it's never been Trump. You know who it's been? It's been the average American. The working class American is too ignorant enough to pick up a book, to do the work, to do the work to make sure that they are voting for people who work in our favor. Mm-hmm. We're always, like you say, vote on agendas. Mm-hmm. I don't want that gay person in my teaching my child. I don't want that black family living beside me. I don't want women to have an abortion. But that's not helping you pay your rent. Woo. That's not helping you with the groceries. You can't even afford gas. You can't even go on trips. Mm-hmm. And you can't even afford health insurance.
Wow. Look at that.
You know what? Can I just expound on that? What you just said?
Sure, absolutely.
This is my, and just so we keep it clear, I'm impartial because I think the Democrats are full of crap too. So So I ain't like I'm a Democrat. I am a registered independent. I am. I have voted Republican. If you follow, like you said, if you follow my needs, I'm going to vote for you, whether you be Republican or Democrat. The problem is right now, the Republicans have joined in together and they're against anybody other than a heterosexual white male. If it ain't that, you don't count. And that's the problem I have with all of it right now. And my basic point is when I hear people say, well, Donald Trump ain't being racist. Look at Nelly and them talk about him in their songs. They talk about the mafia, and we know the mafia is racist. They don't like black people either. But you praise John Gotti, you praise all these other the mafia, Al Capone, them. But this is what, and Trump said it out his own mouth. He said, if I was ever to run for president, I'd run as a Republican because Republicans are stupid. He said it. I don't even have to quote. It's a quote.
But he said he wasn't a Christian either, but he's selling Trump Bibles. I mean, he's not a Christian either, but he sells Trump Bibles. And those people who are entertainers, business people, they vote for Trump because Trump gives them a tax incentive.
That money.
Right. So why not vote for somebody that's going to work in your favor? Why not? Why not, Nelly, uphold these folks? They're going to work for them.
I've heard people say this, and this is crazy when I hear it. I would do it if I was rich, but you ain't going to be rich, and you ain't rich.
Oh my God. See,
so
and that's why that alone right there, that statement alone right there, Charles, is so very sad because this is the problem with humanity in general. Power and greed.
That's right.
Okay, power and greed. Now, if you want to talk about quote unquote something that want to be labeled come out of church being in sin, how about letting power and greed start with that? Let that be the number one, because that impacts everything that you do, power and greed. But wait a minute, hold on. But then if you want to acknowledge that, then guess what? It's going to still have to go back within the church, because church moves the same way, or operates of power and greed. Okay, so it's a mixed bag of a problem with humanity in where they say. Now, I'm going to try to break this down real quick. So you know where the power and greed comes from? It comes from survival instincts. Mm-hmm. Okay, we all have survival instincts. Okay, at the end of the day, okay, we don't want to classify as a survival. You put yourself in the middle of the woods and you strip your clothes down and you do everything. They take clothes from you and everything. Guess what? You're gonna find some leaves to put over your private parts. You're going to find something to sleep on. You're going to find a way to eat some berries. You may even eat a rat, okay, to survive. Okay, Adam and Eve. But anyway, we won't go down that story right quick. We ain't going to go down there at that point, okay, because it makes sense. And what I'm talking about makes sense. All right, I'm not over spiritualizing what makes sense. Okay, survival instinct comes from your creator. All right, and in it, but we have mismanaged what was given to us as an opportunity to take power and control over someone else. I'm gonna stop right there. We
want the worst for each other.
Well,
we want the worst. We want to be able to go into a McDonald's and see somebody like Charles behind the counter and say, "Man, you too old to be working this type of time," but you're working. You're working. You have a job. So the fact that you can stand up there and tell me about me and I'm working is what the average American wants for themselves.
Right.
And they see the powerful do it to them all the time at their office or at their desk, at their workspace. They want to be able to come up to you and say, you full of shit because you work at McDonald's.
Well, you know what they'll say too? Hey, I'll die before I work back at McDonald's. I'll go on the street and hustle, but in 3 years he'll be in jail for 10 or 20. So which one's better?
Okay, so it stems off of what I just said. You know what I mean? And until I don't know that's
a job is a job, but let's
it is. I mean, again, what I just said is the truth behind the true fact.
Bullshit.
Okay, no, it ain't bullshit.
But what I just said is what I'm just saying, But the fact is that that's what people want. They want the power to. I don't put myself in this,
right?
But that is what the average American want for themselves. Yeah. They don't want either of us to get ahead because they want somebody to be on.
Because if you have power, you have control. And anytime you have control, you put somebody on the
we don't
lower standard. That's why
you
when you think you have control, you walk into McDonald's and berate the person behind the counter. Just like the show that the clip we showed last week with the guy that was not even from America, and the guy gave the comment. If you know what I'm talking about, guys, go back and look at last week's show. The guy and these guys weren't even Americans themselves. They saw a beautiful woman. He had a problem. He goes off on them because they call his wife beautiful. What a stupid ass man would do something like that.
But in his country, they beat the women. Then in his country, they beat the women, and they have a right. But you can't say she's beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know how many men are very proud when they say, "Man, your wife looks so beautiful." They throw their chest out. That pulls up on their manhood like, I done got a piece on my arm, that's looking good. This jackass go get in and want to berate everybody, like you said, berate everybody in that restaurant because the woman was beautiful. And I wish I erased that clip. I wish I could show it again. But anyway, this is just the same stupidity that's existed. But we need, hey, baby, y'all, we need to think. We need to wake up. We got to go on because I know one thing. So our little new friend, she broke down a couple of things today, and then we'll go on a little bit.
But they didn't. They passed the bill that is going to disproportionately move income from the lowest classes all the way up to billionaires because the conservatives have taken their mask off that they have never been a party for the people. And what I want you to do is now is the most important time to keep learning and reading up on history and learning the truth about these, having hard copies of books in your house. Sleepwalking Through History by Hayes Johnson. Learn about the Reagan years, who helped propel a lot of these policies forward and is the reason for the massive student debt and intentionally attacked education so that lower and middle classes couldn't access it as easily. Intentional poverty in the U.S., evicted by Matthew Desmond, keeping people poor is actually the point. If you want to learn the history of Christian nationalism and how they've abused religion and government, money, lies, and God and the power worshippers by Catherine Stewart. And speaking of the government, if you want to learn the truth about what the founding fathers thought about religion and the Constitution, the founding myth by Andrew Seidel, that our founding fathers were very, very clear on the separation of church and state and the freedom from religion, how the lack of data research and how the laws have disproportionately affected women, Invisible Women by Caroline Perez, and most importantly by Richard J. Evans, The Third Reich in Power. This one is a doozy and she's a tough read, but I challenge you to go through it, see what's happening now, understand that the poverty is the point. It is intentional. These have never been fiscally responsible policies because Republican presidents have consistently outspent Democratic presidents. It has always been about hoarding wealth, resources, and education for the highest classes. Start to build your library so that you cannot be conned by these liars. Again, they have taken the mask off. We see them for what they really are, and we have a long fight ahead of us, but fight we will.
But the backwoods won't see it for themselves.
Okay.
But I wholeheartedly
on my list. I've already ordered them. 4 of those books I've already ordered.
Wow.
Yeah, great. At the end of the day, like what she just said is what we've been saying for the longest. But you know what I always say, it's going to take us, the people, we the people. I don't see it for any Democrat or Republican to really vouch for us. We're going to have to vouch for us. Mm-hmm. And yes, and I hate to say it, it might take another political party. We already got the Green Party, we got the Independents, we got Democrat. But then my thing is this: with all of these other parties, when I'm going to stop seeing these commercials from Turning Point, from the heritage foundations. When I'm gonna stop seeing these commercials from, I need to see something from a progressive idea, from a Green Party idea, from I don't understand why these other parties are not really fighting toe to toe with what's going on.
Yeah.
That's my gripe with the Democrats, the Independents, the Green Party, the whatever party. You know, I don't understand why y'all allowing them to control the narrative.
10 people run the media. 10 people control the media. Those people make it what gets on, what doesn't get on, what we see, what we can't see. So when people say, you know, why don't they? You can't. You got to get past them 10. And just like this comment says, all you got to do is get rich and you won't have to worry about shit. That's bullshit too. Because a rich nigga is still a nigga, as Don King says. So stop trying to pretend like you get some money that's gonna make a difference in your life. There's a bunch of rich folks out here who ain't got shit, ain't got no moral character, ain't got no substance. They're just rich, and that doesn't make any difference.
That's the one in the White House.
That's the one. That's the one we keep talking about. Is with the lotion, with the baby oil.
Yeah,
that's the one that keeps running to the islands. What's his name? His name is Simmons. See, the thing about black folks and money, we believe, and we have given black folks with money. And I'm talking about the black community. I ain't even gonna put the African American community in this because we have disassociated ourselves with the African American community. Do you understand what I'm trying to get at? It's now more black community right now. So let's talk about the black community. We love to put our athletes, our singers, our actors, and some of these low down politicians as the black voice, and they ain't got nothing. They ain't got the pot to pee in a door to throw it out. The saddest thing about these people, they have nothing to stand on because their narrative has been controlled. You know, in Atlanta, you live in Atlanta, Charles. The only thing that's happening in Atlanta right now is Beyonce, and I love Beyonce, but you know, for some strange reason, she is the narrative. She speaks for almost a whole community. She don't speak for me.
No, me neither.
Because I don't know nothing about this woman, nor do I care to know anything about this woman. This woman is making her money. She's doing what she has to do to keep her dynasty going, but that doesn't pertain to anybody like me. I give her a hand clap for Tyler Perry and Beyonce and all these people, but they don't talk for the black community.
No,
if they did, they would have bought Essence.
You know the saddest part about all that is
they would have bought Essence.
That is that Atlanta, there's a misconception. Atlanta's doing better, but they don't talk about Atlanta no more because it's doing better. They talk about everything else around Atlanta. Atlanta is not Georgia. Atlanta's only Atlanta, and that's the problem. Right, that's Atlanta's doing better because it's black led, it's black leadership there. They're putting black money into it. But there's more to Georgia than Atlanta. There are other areas in Georgia, and then we forget that Georgia is run by a Republican red democracy. The government is basically red Republican, and they're not going to give you anything. They never do. And people seem to think this is the black Mecca. It's only because we have, I think we're the second or third largest black population of wealth. But that doesn't mean nothing if you have no power. Without any political clout, you can't have no say so.
Absolutely.
But that does, you know what gets me about those states down south? They should be purple. You got more black folks moving there because they can't afford living out here in LA or living up there in New York. So they moved down south. So why are the states not purple?
It's leaning purple. It was totally red when I first got here 10 years ago. 15 years ago. Now
I know Georgia was, but Alabama was not. Mississippi.
You notice they used to talk about Chicago and crime. Chicago's crime rate has gone down tremendously. Nobody's talking about that. The only one talk about Chicago when they're killing people. Now they did have a shootout recently, but crime is still down. You can't judge everything by one what do you call it? One headline.
You got Trump and his black minions call what they call them, flip Chicago red. They up there trying to control the narrative because they don't care for the mayor of Chicago, Brandon, whatever.
Yeah, Brandon don't care for him. They don't care for the governor, the rich guy, Fisker. They don't care for him either. But like I said, you have to have people like that in charge. Fisker has been a successful businessman. He hasn't been like Trump. Trump Steaks gone down the drain. Trump Airline gone down the drain. Trump University gone down the drain. Trump Casinos gone down the drain. Trump Hotels gone down the drain. What kind of businessman loses everything but he wants to run the country?
But why are the PR teams not putting this out there? Why isn't that not pushed to the point that we can? I understand where Charles is coming from. I understand
because of money. That's why
the money. But you know what? Somebody got to do something.
Again, we talk about money and power. And I'm in total agreement with both you guys about this.
You got
Democratic.
Beyonce, got Barbara Streisand. You got all these people, these rich donors,
but don't nobody have no money.
Got all these rich donors.
Wait a minute, all these people that don't, but nobody has no damn money.
You got.
You know what I'm saying?
You got Hollywood.
Let me say it one more time. All these people got this money, but don't nobody have no money.
You got
That's why when I hear people say, "Just get rich and you can be," being rich don't mean squat. It means you got money.
It don't.
That is the benevolent thing to be. I struggle with every day that I get up on this planet. Okay, and put my feet on the floor. Thank God that I did. All these people got money, but don't nobody have no money.
Hold on. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna put this out there.
Don't do the we. Don't do the we.
No, I'm gonna say this. We don't have.
No.
Wait a minute now. Everybody else is rich in this dancery, right? You got everybody who's rich and got all the assets, got all the people behind them, backing them, fans and stadiums and all this stuff. But we this little platform.
Okay.
We're this little platform.
Been around 5 years.
And nobody supports us, but we're talking about it. We're trying to we're being about it too. But the saddest thing about it is you have people like Kai Cenat, you got people like TK Kirkland, you got people like Dave Chappelle, you got all of this Denzel, you got all of this money, all of this notoriety. They are not doing the will of the people that give them the money.
Well,
I am not going to go support anybody that is not about the times that they live in. Because even Nina Simone said this: an artist is about the times that they live in. If you're not speaking of the times that we're living in, I'm not supporting you. And you know what? And it doesn't matter that I don't support you because you got your billions.
Okay.
But my thing is this: I'm gonna leave it alone.
No. I want you to go back to what you said earlier about this platform called the Truth Behind Truth. No, go back. Go back.
But my thing is this: if this is who you support, and all they can do is exploit, hey, I got all this. I got my fans. I got this. I'm the Barbs. I'm the Beehive. I'm this and I'm that. You know what? Keep doing you. But you know what?
Wait a minute. I wish I had one. There's a mug that's been out 2 years now. There's been a mug, okay? You know the mug, Charles, right? You know the mug I'm talking about, right? There's been a mug. There's been a mug for about 3 years. It's been out on the market that's called The Truth Behind Truth. You can buy it for $9.99. Okay, there's been a strip part that goes across on our screen. Look up here. I'm kidding, serious, but you draw home a very strong point. I brought on a very, very strong point about that. Here's a platform that has been providing you information that should be tickling you from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. All right. And ain't nobody did what they were supposed to do behind that. I'm sorry. There's a few, okay, that has done something to support the truth behind the truth. Good segue for that. The truth behind the truth has been along. We have provided for you from before election, during election, and God knows after the election. We have
nobody come and tell us we're right. Will nobody come up and say you guys are right? No, they're gonna talk smack about, well, Trump doing this. You ain't gonna. They never acknowledge the fact that we were right about
that. Was in fact, take that information and go with it and say I heard it somewhere. All right. Those that see this program tonight, thank you for tuning in tonight. We greatly appreciate you. Pull out that checkbook, that check card, or whatever the case may be. Those that will see it a week down the road, pull out that checkbook. Whenever it is circling around, that it is circling around from here to Africa. Some of y'all got to get y'all shit together. I mean, for real. But you got, look, as you said, Beyonce right there in Atlanta, they done stole her stuff. Now everybody all up in arms because they stole her new music. They stole her new music. Her choreographer lost her music. That's all over the news, from the nightly news to the LA news. All right. But here is the true news right here. And I bet you half of y'all ain't gonna share it tonight. But anyway, I digress. We're gonna move on to a little bit more in the media perspective. So doing a little bit of research and just how people are removed from positions and you don't realize even how they're removed from citizenship. So DeMarco Morgan is a great journalist. Okay, he's been through the ranks. I mean, he was in Atlanta locally for quite some time. You know, then he's moved on to different areas. So he is no longer going to be with ABC's GMA3. Okay, I guess contract negotiations of the fact of pictures. I can't say alleged because they were out there, but they felt that because of his fan base, whether it's straight women, men between women, gay men, or whatever the case may be, they started promoting his fanship over his biker shorts. Oh. So they felt that you got it, Charles. If you want to, that he was inappropriately showing his man goods while he was out bike riding, which is appropriate attire for for cycling. He was out here in Santa Monica when the pictures were taken. I don't know if it was this male friend, whoever friend took the pictures. He put them on his Instagram. Okay. Not trying to get any hits and likes. Now, maybe not. I don't know. You don't know what people try to get likes from nowadays. But I just don't see him. I think that he's such the professionalism and an attractive man of color. And I think that he's such the professional that I've seen of him, and pardon that pun. That he has now no longer going to be on ABC, losing affiliation with ABC because of the biker short incidents.
Probably his platform should do that. He should go for more biker shorts. That should be his new platform. Go just wear biker shorts all day and give out the news.
I'm gonna be the devil's advocate right here. Now, why are we so upset about him when you talk so much smack about Megan Thee Stallion dropping her butt? But it was a problem with her. But now we're going to be in support of a man whose genitals are hanging out. Now it's a big difference. We're going to support him because he was done wrong. But we talk smack about a young black woman.
I agree with you. Bringing attention to the whole matter because
last time I talked about Megan Thee Stallion, I disagree with Megan Thee Stallion when she was dropping it hard at the DNC. Now I thought that was not the most. I didn't think that was the most appropriate time. I'm
not making that the point right now. So,
but that is the truth.
No, right. But the point is that we, Charles, and all of us collective here, we know that anytime that if a male visually gets dropped below the belt, okay, it becomes a problem. Typically, if you're a man of color, okay, no pun intended, and the thing about it is that the pictures, if you look at them, they're not displaying anything because biker shorts, the way that they're looped in the biker short, the support that's in the bike, he ain't showing nothing. He ain't got nothing running down his leg. He ain't got none of that going on. Okay, but they sexualized the whole picture, and that goes back to what we said last week on the show before. Why is it that everything that we do has to be sexualized? Why? The man's out riding with his friends on a bike. Okay. Those are the things that bikers wear on whether they're doing the Tour de France or whatever the case may be. They got biker shorts on. Now, is it the fact that somebody got jealous? Maybe his manhood was showing a little bit. Maybe it was a person that wrote it, and they wasn't dropping it low like it was. Or I don't know.
Probably in Trump's America, his blackface is not needed.
Well.
And exactly. That could be the kicker. They were looking for something. They found something.
On it because he's such a meticulous journalist.
I believe, to be honest with you, if I support what is decent in my eyes. So right. I feel like at the end of the day, if you find that to be, what it is what it is. But I like this that picture ain't even sexually warranted. I don't even know. I couldn't even see it unless you pointed it out to me. What?
Charles,
what do you think? Charles, what do you
say? I say this every week. We spend so much time pointing out the window, but we never look in the mirror.
True. I don't see anything. But and it's just the sad part. And the reason why we brought that up tonight on this particular show is because, for something like this to cause this man to lose his job allegedly through ABC, but a separation of agreement because of a picture, and it just, I guess I don't want to say it, but it just goes to
go work for Jay-Z like Megan Thee Stallion. That's why she would never lose endorsements.
Why do you have to bring that woman into this?
I just think DeMarco needs to go work for Jay-Z. No. I mean, you know what? I saw my girl sitting on her man's lap with a thong on. showing those little boo boos that on her TikTok. And I mean, she ain't gonna lose endorsements for her. You know, they were dry humping on TikTok. So I'm like, you know what? Go work for Jay-Z. You go work for Jay-Z, you won't lose endorsements. You won't lose jobs.
What does that have to do with DeMarco Murray?
Yeah, you will.
But
Yeah,
that's
you
the
will.
truth. What you say, Joe?
Working with Jay-Z. Yeah, you will. They fight Anne Marie. There's a lot of them that ain't working no more. Carrie Hilson, it ain't work with Jay-Z.
From what I've always heard, and this is allegedly, I mean, she wasn't sleeping with him, I think.
Oh, no, you're not going to start rumors, are you?
They put it out there. I didn't put. Listen, who was it? They go run into what's his name? The Russian guy. What's his name? What's his name? They go exposing these people on these false platforms. You know how when we don't get our way like Nicki Minaj. We go.
Okay, we're not going that way. We're not talking about these
exploiting things and saying things. So, hey, if the celebrities are saying it, why not? And them it's not alleged anymore.
Well, we're not Tasha K, and we're not any of those people. That's we're not any of them. So we're not going to put no rumors out there. Like I said, we're going to keep it straight and narrow.
All you got to do is get rich, and you won't have house shit.
That's what and not to be funny, but that's what the rich Jews said when Hitler came to town. All you gotta do is be rich, and he won't bother us. And what he do when he got rid of all the Pope folks? He went there and said, "You still Jews, so you got to go too."
Sure did.
It didn't make a difference.
Call them mutant rats and all that stuff. But you know what? The one thing I will say this though, when it boiled down to the situation with us, when it boiled down to money, we don't want each other to have it.
We sure don't.
Well, we don't. We don't. We don't. I mean, we don't want each other to have anything, and that's a black community as a whole. You give me a little piece of something, I can't have you getting what I got. And I hate to say it, but everybody else is getting reparations within their community, but we're still asking for reparations from people who don't think we should have it. So where will we come as a community to receive reparations from each other within? When are we going to start supporting each other? I
said that last week on the show. I said until you start appreciating who you are between one another, there's no unity involved for anything else great to come in.
We mad at Essence Fest.
Well,
mad at Essence Fest.
Well, you know why they mad at Essence Fest, because it has turned into something that has become a complete shit show.
You got a whole bunch of black actors, black singers, black rappers, black politicians. They don't put their money behind Essence and Ebony and Jet Magazine, and you know what? We lose out. We don't have nothing. We don't have a BET because BET was sold by Bob Johnson when he could have gave it to somebody.
It was.
So this anger for Essence Fest is full of shit.
It is. It sure is. It's not even deserved.
It's not.
The people that come to this place. The patrons make your audience, and that's who you cater to. You don't just because it's got a classic. That's like the Cool Jazz Fest. Why do you think it stopped? Because nobody was listening to jazz.
Well, that's around my new point, because what that does is that speaks to a whole entire community of people, and that's not fair, because the Essence Festival is not based upon Nicki Minaj, Megan Thee Stallion, and all this other the way our music has gone. I understand where it is, but that does not make that acceptable to a group of people that Essence was about. Here's where we have that problem.
It's business.
I understand. I get it. I get it. I
do not sell tickets.
I understand. Don't get me wrong, but it does not change the whole gamut of what something was created for. It was about black excellence, and that is not represented by a lot of people being black excellence.
Why isn't it?
But
why hip hop black excellence? Why did not?
Because it's not. Because it has changed a whole dynamic of how.
That's an opinion.
It's a lot of people.
No, but that's your opinion.
But it's not the opinion.
Okay. It is a lot of people. There's a certain demographic of people, like you said many times on Charleston, that appeals to. I understand that, but there's a majority of it that does not appeal, and it is a certain age demographic that does not aspire for that. So what has happened is that demographic has been forced out the same way with the BET Awards and everything else, and we want to blame everything else for. No, we've opened up for the person that's funding it to have the majority of it. No, something has got to either stay. Either you have two separate events or whatever the case may be. So the BET tried to have the hip hop awards and the regular BET awards. Then all of a sudden the BET awards side infusing the bling and the hip hop roars back
why
into
did we
it.
get on this subject?
I don't know that you did that. You started that.
I only said this.
You mentioned essence. You mentioned essence.
I only said this, Charles. Now, Charles, what did I say? I said we have a situation where we want to get angry because somebody has came in and taken over and had bought something that we held dear to our community. You went on another tangent. Then you go on another tangent, Charles.
And you know what that sounds like? That sounds like that white lady earlier.
We're talking about ownership and control.
No,
we ain't talking about no rap.
You mentioned the Essence Festival. You talked about Essence Festival and what went on to it.
No,
and that is
I said this. I'm just saying this because I'm making this clear. We're talking about ownership. We're talking about the fact that you, as a Black American, you're always asking for something instead of owning it, right?
Yep.
But I'm telling you, we have all of this money, all of this Black excellence that you keep saying. Why have they not put their money behind things that we hold dear, like Jet, Ebony, Essence, BT? But either way, I'm going to say this and I'm going to leave it alone. We cannot get true reparations until we really start supporting within our communities. And the point is, but you went on another tangent.
No,
that's another tangent. We ain't talking about you. No, you went on another tangent.
Just remember this now. Now Black people don't believe we came over here in boats. Now they believe we was already, which we were to some extent, but we weren't all already in the United States. Yes, Black was already here.
But the point is, and I understand on different levels what is fueling the financial disposition on a lot of situations. Mm-hmm. However, but one thing is replacing another, and it should not replace another. It should be a situation where it can be fused together if it's in the right context. But when it's gone to what people are used to, just like, for instance, I'm not going to get that. She's still going to open up another Pandora's box, tonight about it. But it is gone from something that it was to what it's not, and I don't know when the hell it's going to end up.
Isn't that the white lady's complaint in the beginning of the show?
What's that?
That was her complaint. The white lady who said the Black folks are getting the holidays. She's complaining. That's her same complaint. You're changing what I'm used to. And now you want to come in here and do your thing when it's always been white. And now we're saying that on the other hand,
I understand that, but you've got to look at how things were funded. And what it started about, and going back to Johnson. I mean, there's a lot. The visionaries of both of these magazines and this event and all this type of stuff was not in intent of where it has gone. Okay, it was not. All right, now and we can't justify that because of certain elements want certain behavior practices to be acceptable because that's the way they see themselves. It's fine if that's the way you see them, you see yourself, but you're forcing it on everybody else at the same time. You're making a culture of people that fought for something to be separate and an idea of excellence, in my opinion. Okay, now you have degraded that group of people and calling people bitches and hoes. What? That doesn't make sense to me, and it never will. Okay, you've made the word Nigger acceptable. It's a combination of what I'm saying here. You've made it acceptable because a certain group of people want to say it. That don't make it right. It doesn't make it right at the end of the day.
When you own the enterprise, you will have the power to make known of what you want. Yes, it will. Because at the end of the day, you have to own it to make that type of change. No, you got to own it.
So everything that we talked about tonight, basically for us, what this country going. So if Donald Trump owns America, then we are going to all have to accept what's going on in that regard, so we like it or not.
We are so far. We are so far.
What you do is you move from it to create something else better for yourself.
That's right.
Okay,
that's
understood.
That's the key. Those people that's complaining, if they really want that, they'll put their dollars behind their mouth and their attitude and make it happen. I complain because other people taking over and doing it. They're putting the money in.
Right, but again, it's to me, and again, it's two different to obscurity, and to me, in my opinion, it's my conservative side. Obscurity is weighing out to a life that I think that we all have always been exposed to, but obscurity is the exception to the rule now. So you can do anything that you want to do without any consequences.
There was a time when Elvis shaking his hips was bad.
Right, because you're on.
There was a time they wanted to take Elvis off the TV. They didn't want James Brown being on because he moved. Elvis couldn't be on TV at the time because he moved his hips. James
Right.
Brown couldn't be on TV because he was shaking his
Right.
midsection. There's always a progression. What
But
everybody's got their standard.
there is a difference in progression, and there's a difference in the element of what is considered progression. Okay, there is.
Times.
You know, and I just will be behind time when it comes to certain elements of things, because I see our community more on an upper scale opportunity of things versus to the allotment. And I'm just using this example of the as I said a minute ago, calling each other in IGGERs and referring to our women as bitches and hoes and everything else. No, I'm sorry.
Well, Duncan Milius was that way with Soul Train. He did not like hip hop stars too.
Right.
He did not like hip hop at all.
Then he had to conform after he found out he was losing his viewers. They wanted what was new at the times, and they wanted it to go what was coming. And he had to
and again, we can always break down scenarios of the situations in that, you know.
And I'm not a hip hop purist either way. I don't care for the genre. I don't care for the narrative. I like nice and I like positive rap. I like positive spoken words. But when it boiled down to what they call it, you know what I'm trying to get at.
Grotesque, man.
Well, no, not grotesque, but there are certain levels to it. I just can't get into it. But my thing is this: it's going to take the people, like we were just saying about the vote, about Trump. The average person, whatever you put your money behind, it's going to be pushed. We, as a society, have to realize that whatever you put your money behind, whatever that's got to be a situation where, as a society, we have to clean up the behavior. But then you got a new generation that don't know nothing about anything else other than what they are seeing right now.
Exactly.
You got people like Kai Cenat, you got DDG, but see, to be honest with you, who is pushing the agenda? You can't always blame corporations for doing what the people want the corporations to push. You know, I love award shows. I would love to watch the American Music Awards and the Grammy Awards. But then you got to think about, there are people I could care less about who are performing each and every year, the same set of people, but who is pushing these people? It's got to be the people who support them. It's just the average person who puts money behind it. And why? And it's not, and the reasons why, because the fact that because the money is pushed, the corporations and everybody else are behind all of this. They're behind all of this. This is why we have Trump. Trump is president because there were average people who put money, average organizations who put money behind this man. And guess what? Somebody saw a good deal in what he was doing. They put money behind it. I think we might have to twerk our way to get money. I don't know.
If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. Hey,
what'd you say,
if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. That's just the rule of the world these days.
I don't understand it, but
I understand all of that, but it still does. And then we go to the classic scenario, and we're going to wrap up because we got to finish this one, guys. We should get off.
Yeah.
The one that people church out of church, whatever. They always say that the root of money is all evil. Okay, which is true. Or the love of money is the root of all evil.
Actually, it's just one of the veins. Power is the other part.
Well, no. Wait, hold on. I don't mean to cut you off. Just stay within that, in the bounds of that. Don't add to that. Okay, let's just stay within the bounds of that statement. Okay, and it's a biblical statement. It's an ecclesiastic statement. Okay, and you know, why is it that we're at a point now we're having a discussion about the root of all evil being money? Okay, or is it the love of money?
I have to push back on that because the Bible is basically money also, and I hate to be the what do you call it, the non-Christian up in here, but we can't keep going back to the lie, which is I tell people every day, stop using the lie to make everything right. That is not a good place to start.
I'm throwing a question. not a debate for point of that question. All I'm just saying is that if there's a point of in a area of that and what has been said over society forever, you know, in and of that, and that's not coming from a quote unquote Christian religious perspective. It is coming out of scripture, yes, because it's in Ecclesiastics, but it was said in context for a thought purpose. What are you pursuing? Are you pursuing the love of that money? And because of that love of that money, you're opening yourself up for all kinds of things. Okay. And that is where and we can leave it at that. the underlying here is that. So what we see and what we see going on in society is the love of money is creating and opening up a pathway, from my opinion, your opinion, whatever it is, being the root of evil. Okay, and it's in terms of, now evil is not necessarily devil, hell, and all that type of stuff. The root of evil could be just in the heart of a person, that they don't want to do right by their fellow person. You know, that root could be Beyonce being on stage. It could be and all of the levels of the things like that, because of the pursuit of that money is becoming an evil task. You know, and that's where we need to take the pause and think about, what is the pursuit of that money for? Is it to love, or is it to help somebody else? Like you said, are we opening up black businesses? Are we doing this? Are we opening up? Are we supportive of all these other type of things? Because we love what we can do with it, not for what it can take from us and create another havoc about it. But anyway, we're going to leave it at that. We do have a celebratory moment as we finish out this wonderful young gentleman. He was at a council meeting, and I think somebody that's going to be end up a future leader in the democracy that we need. Okay, and
because what's happening now could change our futures, and what President Trump is doing and is threatening to do is frightening.
Wow.
Parents and teachers are talking about a lot of things that we don't know about, but unlike some people, we know the meaning of the Declaration of Independence. Come on, we all saw the video talking about low IQ.
He's funny, babe.
All jokes aside, as you can see, my mom is oxygen dependent, as she has been for more than 5 years due to COVID pneumonia in both lungs since March of 2020. And without Social Security, my mom and I would not be able to survive. My grandmother, who is turning 98 years old on May 15th, would not be able to survive. My brother Kyle, who is a Marine, when he becomes a veteran, he is entitled to veteran benefits. And without those, he wouldn't be able to survive. Cuts to Social Security, cuts to Medicaid, cuts to veteran benefits, and cuts to education hurt my mom, my grandmother, my brother, and me, my whole family. So I'm asking you, and especially you, Miss Tix, because we in New York, what can you do to help me? I know you're all lawyers, right? I know you fight. Just keep fighting. Thank you all for your time.
Somebody is teaching this young man something.
That's right.
Teaching him quality of life, teaching him how to, at 9 years old, having a platform.
That's right.
You know, and he could be our next president. He could be, definitely is going to be a future leader out there, you know, at the end of the day, and recognizing, because his parents, like you said, Charles, the parents, the people that are not infusing our young people with a strategic understanding of what life is about and where things are right now. So I applaud this young man.
I do too.
You know, and I send all the great energy and the great power to him, and hope that all greatness will rain down on him, you know, throughout his endeavors, you know, that is, because he is a future leader that we will have. All right. It's been a great night. Once again, debateful as usual. All right. We love you guys. Thank you so much. We're a little over time, way over time. But we thank you for tonight, because it's been a very powerful show. And we hope that you take this and move into different phases of your life with. I mean, we spent a lot of time doing this. As we said, if you're paying Beyonce, you need to be paying JB, you need to be paying Dial, and you need to be paying Charles.
And we all should know that those people have no control, because who has control? God
has control.
God has control.
All right.
And he holds, and he has everything in the palm of his or her hands.
Absolutely.
You know,
that's politically correct. Yeah. All right, guys. We will see you right back here next week. Charles, we love you so much. Thank you for being a part of this greatness as we move to be greater and greater and greater. You all have a powerful, powerful week. We will see you next week on Tuesday night, or the rebroadcast, which will be rebroadcast again, but we'll see you again on Saturday night if you're rebroadcasting the show at that point. Next week, 6:30. Take care. We love y'all. Bye now.